Welcome to Bealtaine Cottage here in the west of Ireland. It has been a horrendous week. We've had Storm Darragh, or as I always say we, but it's actually just me here on my own. Storm Darragh has been and gone. It's left devastation in its wake. I've lost 4 of my lovely big trees, but I'm now on the other side of it and I'm seeing everything as opportunity. So I'm going to be working hard out there. You'll see in this video that I've been working hard already. Burnt coffee. I've left this in the cup sitting on the stove, but anyway, better than nothing. Before you go into the video, I'd like to ask you if you have subscribed, because over half, I think it's actually over half now, of those who view the channel are not subscribed. Now, for the first 11 years that I was on YouTube, that Bealtaine Cottage has been on YouTube, I didn't allow advertising for 11 long years. And so YouTube didn't make any money out of me, out of the channel. I didn't make any money, but nevertheless. And so they never promoted me. So it's really important, if you choose, please subscribe and like the video. Yeah, I need to say this more often, you know. I'm always a wee bit backward about coming forward with this, but I will mention it a bit more often. Anyway, enjoy the video and blessings to you all. And thank goodness Storm Darragh has gone. Oh. So here I was, outside just as dawn was breaking, lighting up the Kelly kettle to boil some water to make a pot of coffee. And as you can see, the wind was still quite fierce. And I noticed around this time that the tree on the corner of the barn had fallen down. Well, this is Saturday morning and oh, what a night. Gosh, yeah. Damage out there in the woodlands. I've just lit the stove here in the sitting room. I've lit the stove in the kitchen, though I will have to run off hot water because the pump isn't working because we've got no electricity. So there's the girl there on the sofa. She doesn't give a damn. But I'm just grateful that, you know, the roof is still on the cottage and I'll soon have the makings of a cup of tea. Yeah. Well, this was the first tree that I spotted down, the beautiful Korean fir. And as I walked down through the woodland, there was another 3. There's possibly a few more because I didn't get to all bits of the woodland. But myself and Patsy were safe, and Patsy especially being safe was very important to me. So I managed to keep the stove in the sitting room going, although the wind was just pulling it up the chimney. This was another tree, which is down near the gate, a huge big Italian alder, massive tree. But I'm going to use that space and possibly leave a bit of the trunk still on the ground and make like a little wooden bench out of it. Get a chainsaw and carve out some kind of a bench. So thankfully the stove here in the sitting room isn't connected to anything other than the chimney. So of course I can keep that going. My standing stove in the kitchen, I have been able to use that, but I have to keep running off the hot water because of course it heats the water, and usually the pump, which is electric, keeps that circulating around the radiators. Anyway, Yeah, I've made some repairs to the stove here in the sitting room this morning, and I've also given it a good clean. Can you see the shine on it? Yeah. And underneath, ooh, yeah. And I've used some black polish on it, you know, the stuff that you use for stoves. For want of a better explanation, the fire cord, the cord that you'd normally glue round the inside of the door, a lot of that had burnt out, gone missing, you know, so there was drafts coming in all the way around the door and the fire wasn't burning properly. So I've managed to fix that this morning, which I feel really pleased about, because that was a job that was on the long finger, so to speak. Oh yes, madam, you just climb up there and do as you want. Yes, I'm just in now from the woodland. A massive amount of dead wood all over the place. So I've been collecting that up and putting it into the tunnel to dry out and use as kindling. So I'm hoping this kettle is going to come to the boil shortly, and then I'm going to make myself a cup of well-earned tea. So I'm just stood near the kitchen window here by the sink, and I couldn't tell you how many blackbirds have landed looking for food on the bird table. I've got 2 bird tables. I might get a third one. It's been really, really cold. There's been a hard frost on the ground, and it's kind of stayed white and frosty for a few days now. So it's particularly hard on the wildlife, you know, because they've had to endure the rigours of the storm. And now, of course, the extreme cold. And the nights are still very long for them. So, as is my wont, I like to go out into the woodland just before dawn. And you know, at the moment, as we descend towards the solstice, there's a real magic in the air. And you can sense it, you can hear it. And there's so much joy in the birds singing just as they begin to, you know, see the dawn breaking for themselves and know that they can start feeding again. It's a beautiful time of year, but it's also a very hard time of year for all the wildlife and for all the animals. But within this strange beauty, there is magic. Whether it's the white frost or a plane going through the sky in the early dawn. It's beautiful. So I thought before I go, I would just let you see some of the work I've been doing over the recent days. And some of the work I've still yet to do. Like I've just started pruning this apple tree here. There was a lot of damage done during the storm, and what I've done is I've decided to use this opportunity to give everything a good cut back, a good trim. And this laurel here, right? That was massive. And this is some of the poles I've got out of it. Now this is hardwood, all hardwood. So this is ideal for building garden structures. Something I'm looking forward to doing. All the greenery, all the leaves, I've made like a big dead hedge out of it. And again, this is going to be vital for wildlife, especially birds. And it won't be moved, it won't be touched for about a year. So it gives nesting opportunities as well. And where you have the evergreen leaves, you see, you've actually got a lot more of a wind barrier for small birds. So I'll just show you over here. These are my compost bins. Those of you who are familiar with Bealtaine Cottage will know all about these. And been cutting back a lot of the willow as well. I was out here for about 3 hours yesterday. You see the white frost look on the box. It is bitterly cold. So this was a willow, quite a big willow that fell over during the storm. I've given the plum tree a good prune. This is a cherry tree that was damaged. I've taken the top off it, so it should regenerate. I'm going to leave this for the moment until I get a sharper saw to log it up. And I've stacked much of the smaller pieces of wood and branches. I've stacked them all on top of the old compost heap. So again, it gives an opportunity for nesting. And I've got some poles here now to deal with. Up along here, you can hear the crunch of the frost underneath. I did start cutting back this hedge before the storm and cutting it very, very low because this does grow extremely fast. I've got a bit more to do there. But I'll show you how it looks now from over there, because it used to be very dense, you couldn't see through it. So first of all, with this Korean fir that was downed in the storm, my intention is to cut it off about 3 or 4 foot up and then to wedge all this back in place and make some kind of a feature with it. It's not savable because most of the top roots, you can just see one down there, have snapped off. Anyway, I'll show you how this looks now. So you can see how much has been opened up, which is a good thing. You know, every so often you do have to clear a lot of the shrubs especially, and try to keep the area open, especially where you have fruit trees and apple trees, which I have. So there'll be more clearing to go on. And then the next thing is to open up the compost bins, because I've got a lot of compost now, which is a couple of years old, ready to spread. So that's something I will be doing soon as well. And there's the sun come out, which is so welcome. For those of you who don't know about Bealtaine Cottage, this was the cottage on the first day that I saw it, 20 years ago in 2004. And my delight has been doing it up over a long course of time, 20 years. I'm still in that process. But planting a woodland around it has brought me great joy, and I'm quite sure has brought Mother Earth great joy as well. It's a wonderful place to live now, and it just shows you the transformation that can be done in 20 years. I don't know what's stopping all the politicians, really.